ago, and several coaches and our officials, and we all sat and spent a lot of time about how do we bring clarity to this rule so that everybody fully understands it. We looked over 50 plays from this past season and talked about different concepts and then apply it to it and see, does that work? Does that cover what we want? Because, again, I'm not sure the rule is accomplishing what we all intended to accomplish right now. And that's not the officials' fault. That's our fault. We need to fix that rule.
Are there thoughts of redoing any kind of the replay system at all?
Well, we always review the replay system, but you're right that there were more replay stoppages this year. They were shorter in duration, but there were still more interruptions on the replay, and I think we can do better, particularly in that area where the replays can be done, I think, a little more efficiently, and we also have to see if we can keep it from being such an imposition in the action of the game.
Well, listen, you heard the commissioner say that the catch, or not a catch, or is it a catch, or how is it a catch, will be reviewed in the offseason. How can this be fixed, Damien? I mean, maybe we have the answer because we haven't found it yet.
I mean, that's a great question. I don't even know the answer. I honestly think we're overthinking this. We're overthinking the whole catch scenario. I've always gone to, like, if you're playing in the backyard, I mean, what would you call it? Playing backyard football. We've really made this thing into, rocket science when it shouldn't be that way. And it's just dominated the talk, throughout a season. There are critical plays. Is it a catch? Is it not a catch? And it bogs down the National Football League.
I couldn't agree more with one thing. I think we are overthinking it. I agree, Damien. I do.
This is going to sound ridiculous and maybe naive, but it's almost as if every NFL stadium, the tunnels that the players enter from on either side, should have a chart with the 5 bullet points of what constitutes a catch, right? In the NFL, it's 2 feet or 1 knee/elbow. It should be, control the football for 2 seconds, whatever it is. Make it very simple. Make it as clear as day what involved, what constitutes a catch so that there is no gray area whatsoever. I mean, the fact that a rudimentary part of football is something that we have to look through with an opaque lens is crazy.
It's a throw and catch game, right? Throw it, you catch it, you run with it.
It's really that simple, and we've made it to the point where we're having dissertations about what is a catch nowadays, and it really shouldn't be that way.
I guess it's naive to think we can't just let the guys decide right there on the field if it's a catch, it's not a catch. I guess you can't do that, but part of me says if they say it's a catch, it's a catch.
Say the good old days.
Listen. No one accused me of being a technology freak. That's for sure. Damien makes fun of my iPhone constantly. Listen, Doug Peterson is not done with his media responsibilities. He has stepped to the podium early, so we will go now live to Minnesota. Here's the head coach.
Good afternoon.
Do I go? Hi, Doug. Alex Flanagan with the NFL Network.
Alex,
in front of here.
Bright lights.
So listen, okay, I'm going to ask you a football question right off the bat. So I'm coming from the Senior Bowl, where I've been watching college kids try to learn the NFL game. And you seemingly have kind of flipped the script a little bit, and you're putting some of the college game into the NFL game, and that has afforded you success and brought you here in some ways. Tell me when, why, and how you started doing that.
Well, I think the win was a little bit in Kansas City with Alex Smith, and then coming here, with Carson, obviously with his background coming from it in college, and Nick had been exposed to it under Chip Kelly, in Philadelphia, and then just you're seeing some of these young kids come out of these systems in college. Now, I would say it's not all conducive to the National Football League. You still have to line up under center. You still got to be able to run the football and do some different things that way. And it's a small part of our offense too. It's not the total package. And finding that Nick's strengths are just that. Trying to limit the formations, limit the motions, limit the shifting. Try to just allow him to see the defense and execute the play. So it's been something that we've used in our offense the past couple of years.
Right. Hey, Doug. Your opponent's commonly referred to as a dynasty right now. And how do you guys sort of embrace the underdog role while not taking the focus off yourselves and building them up too much?
Well, I mean, our guys don't read into too much about what's written or said. Our guys just go about their business every single day. We know what we're faced against. We know the opponent we're going against. A lot of respect for them, obviously, and what they've done and what they've accomplished. And it's about what we do. How our players handle this week and eliminate distractions and eliminate the noise and how well they prepare and get themselves ready to go.
Have you seen an increase in intensity and focus and performance from Fletcher Cox since the playoffs have begun? And does it sometimes take a bigger stage for a player of his ability and talent to realize that full potential?
Yeah, Fletcher's he's a dynamic player for us. One of our leaders. He brings a level of play to our defensive line that sort of increases the talent a little bit. Around him, guys play hard, guys play fast. And I think too during the regular season, you just kind of methodically going about your business, during the regular season, and then you get closer to the playoffs, or if you have a team that, in our case, that had a chance to play in the postseason, guys begin to sort of, hone in and focus in. And the last couple of weeks we've had 3 D tackles up, so he's played more, and that's been a big part of his success. And they know that we've only got a couple weeks left in this season, and so they give everything they can, and he's one of the guys that's been doing that.
It's interesting to hear Doug Peterson basically sort of flip the other side of the coin. In terms of that experience and dynasty thing, Bill Belichick has to address it one way, saying every year is different and it doesn't matter. The flip side of that coin is the team that has to hear you're facing that. You don't have that experience, and Doug Peterson saying our guys don't read into that, because it's really the same thing, just teams on either side of that coin field.
Yeah, I mean, I personally believe that when it comes to Super Bowl week, there's no such thing as a team that's an underdog or a team that can play without pressure. But the Eagles can certainly manufacture that idea in their own minds if they so choose, because they are in some ways playing with house money. Right on December 10th, 2017, Carson Wentz suffered a season-ending ACL tear. Analysts everywhere, present company included, thought kaputs to the Eagles' playoff hopes. And here they are this week. And Doug Peterson, you're right, Randy. There is no pressure right now on the Eagles, and they can be again, play with house money, whatever you want to call it. This is a team that has already made it far further than most expected them to. This is a week where I don't say the pressure's off, because, again, this is the Super Bowl, Damien. This is the largest stage in professional team sports. But in some ways, it feels like the pressure's on the Patriots, right?
You can have a healthy respect for another team and another organization, also not apologize for being there. The Eagles belong. But certainly they will answer questions about facing this Patriots team that's a dynasty, Damien. But let me ask you this, because you played in 2. Did you approach things or feel differently about your second Super Bowl than you did the first time around?
Well, I think the circumstances were different, because in the first Super Bowl, we were heavy, I think 14-point underdogs to the St. Louis Rams. So I can definitely identify with Doug Peterson saying, because the whole week it was all about the greatest show on turf.
Right. I remember
how great the Rams were. Well, the second Super Bowl, we were going against the Carolina Panthers, and people expected us to win, but in Patriot fashion, it was Belichick kept hammering it like we were the underdogs, because this Carolina Panthers bunch, they're gritty. Jake Delhomme was this gritty quarterback. They had all this defense and running game. We almost felt like we were the underdogs going into the game. So it's when it comes to football, it's such psychological warfare in these things, and that's what's going to happen all week long.
Listen, I used to laugh. I can remember being in the Patriots locker room after they won the second and third Super Bowl, and somebody be saying, everyone's disrespected us. No one thought you're like, wait, no, everybody thought you would be here.
Right.
No, I don't understand. It was like, but Belichick had drilled that in, that they were the ones to be doubted, which couldn't have been farther from the truth.
Which I'll say this, in terms of does experience matter? The mental life that's developed for playing for Bill Belichick, I think, does matter. I'll give you that. And the idea that you don't buy into the idea or to the hype that this should be a walk-over Super Bowl win for the Patriots. Like, they're not going in there with the expectation. They just show up and immediately start getting fitted for either their first or second or third or sixth ring amongst Patriots players, because Bill Belichick won't allow them to get to that point. Their focus when Sunday arrives is the first drive. Like, that's going to be their focus. Hey, it's probably going to be warm-ups, not even the game itself, which I think is something that Bill Belichick, and not specific to playing in previous Super Bowls, but just by the way that he has coached throughout his career, has helped develop within his players. The mental edge to treat every moment like it's the most important moment on the day.
There is no stone left unturned. That is for sure. Coming up, you heard from Doug Peterson. Nick Foles will also address the media. We will go back to Minnesota the minute the Eagles quarterback steps to the podium. So stay with us. Plus, Super Bowl week kicked off with Monday's opening night. We'll show you the best of the best from a wild night in Minnesota.
What did the football coach say to the payphone?
I don't know.
I want my quarterback.
Got it.
NFL Live is presented by Golden Corral Smokehouse. Now take home 6 free yeast rolls.